at Tennessee State University, and you've got people from all over the nation coming here in order to address some of the issues that we're dealing with now.
Certainly from the southwestern
parts of the United States to address these issues, and all of them find. And so this is a general issue all over the United States. When we talk about felony arrest and felony disfranchisement and parole systems and the whole thing, I would imagine that has something to do with it too, because
it does.
Not reincarnation. Incarceration, incarceration. That would I would imagine that would also be an issue as well.
Yes, of course, because so many of the people who have done their time attend our churches. You know, they work in our communities or trying to work in our communities. They are free. You know, they've done their time. Whether or not they were guilty or not is another issue. But they're free and they're willing to work, want their lives back, want to be, want their piece of the pie of the American dream, and yet they're locked out. And so this is the issue not just for black people, but for the American democratic process. You know, where we're going as a country. You know, is this the way it's going to be? Does the Constitution not matter? These kinds of issues have to be addressed, and so we want to try to do that, not as an end all, but as certainly a place to, to start to try to answer the question. I think Dr. King left us, where do we go from here?
Okay, and then it's not done with any kind of bitterness or anything.
Oh, no.
To recognize that you have to analyze the whole question in order to find a way out, and that there would have to be some kind of legislative answers to some of the problems that we're dealing with, because they're so widespread and they impact so very, very many people. And so you think that this conference will have an opportunity to at least address some of those issues. And I think in a real sense, we've got about 4 minutes, and we'll give you an opportunity to continue your discussion. But in a real sense, we can say that nothing has been said nationally in reference to this. I think you talk about the Nashville coalition, but and you might have a few groups here or there, but for the most part, this is sort of a silent kind of problem that nobody understands, with those individuals who live within these communities and who cannot find a job, and everywhere they go, they're turned away, and then they're facing a whole issue not only of unemployment outside, but the same issue when they go back home without being able to satisfy a wife, kid.
That's very critical.
Yeah, that's what it's the whole structure of the family. It's not just about one individual coming out of jail, not being able to find a job, but it's about that one individual who had a wife while he was in jail, a kid while he was in jail, and now he's out with great expectations, and now he can't even meet them, which means that he goes back where? Back to jail. In a real sense, because he generally becomes involved. That's why we get this recidivism, all of those issues. And so this is a new organization, is it?
Well, I would say fairly new. We started back in 2006. This particular issue we've tried to address over the last 2 years, I would say. We've got quite a bit of support from churches, church people. Because people recognize that this is a family issue.
It really is.
Has direct, as you pointed out, direct impact on the family structure, on the children, but also on the individual who feels like they have no way out. There's no way to.
They've served their term. They've done everything that they could possibly do, and now they're out. And then every employer that they go to will tell them to come back later. Nobody, because we've got this whole idea of being an equal opportunity employer and et cetera, including everybody. And then we find that some individuals are not equally employed, and especially those individuals who happen to come, and the individuals who probably need employment more than perhaps some other, well, everybody needs some kind of employment, but they are in desperate need of employment, because they have so many situations that they find themselves in. And I'm really in sympathy with such individuals, and I hope that your organization can, with this conference that you're having on between November the 11th
through the 13th,
that other folks could be aware of this conference, and we're going to do as much as we possibly can in order to make people aware of it, and that you can get a larger turnout, and that something can possibly be done. I think that the state of Tennessee has already tried to deal with this whole issue of voting for these individuals, but for the most part, I don't think that has been as thorough as it possibly could have been.
Well, they've done, they've made progress in Tennessee,
okay,
I would say that. But the restrictions are so outrageous that I don't really see that being able to solve our problems. We're gonna have to get involved ourselves.
Good.
And we can't wait for others to do it.
Okay.
Okay,
and of course, Ms. Caine, let me thank you for bringing that excellent information by with us, and we've got about half a minute before we end this show for today. But I certainly appreciate that, and I'm sure that our audience also appreciates the information that you've given us, and we become much more aware. I think and that's about the only thing that we can do in sessions like this, to make people more aware of it and make them more sensitive to it, and understand that they too have a responsibility to do things. And I think that you've helped us to move in that direction with this whole issue. And I want to thank you and your organization, and I also want to thank our audience this morning, and to encourage them to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.